Thank you, Rajeshwari Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranams. No, Prabhuji. No, Mataji wants to stay.
Okay.
You can say.
Hare Krishna. Govinda Hari Gopal Hari 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 Vande Krishna Nanda Kumara Vande Krishna Nanda Kumara Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala Madana Gopala Mohana Rupa Madana Gopala Mohana Rupa Mohana Rupa Nanda Kumara Mohana Rupa Nanda Kumara Mohana Rupa Nanda Kumara Jaya Jaya Deva Hari Jaya Jaya Deva Hari Jaya Prabhu Dina Dayala Hari Jaya Prabhu Dina Dayala Hari Jaya Rama Hari Jaya Krishna Hari Jaya Rama Hari Jaya Krishna Hari Jaya Jaya Satchinandana Gaura Hari Jaya Jaya Satchinandana Gaura Hari Vande Krishna Nanda Kumara Vande Krishna Nanda Kumara Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala Nanda Kumara Madana Gopala Madana Gopala Mohana Rupa Mohana Rupa Nanda Kumara Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाए श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाए ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगगन रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं राधा कृष्ण पादां सगगन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कस्तूरितिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वरमौक्तिकं कर्तले वेणुकरे कङ्गणम् सर्वांगे हरिचंदनं सुललितं कंठे च मुक्तावली गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपालचूडामणि गोधूलि दूसरित कोमल गोपवेशं गोपालसदैः रनुगम्यमानम् सायन्दने प्रतिग्रहं पशुवन्दनार्थं गच्छन्त अच्युत शिशुं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। मुखं करोति वाचालं भङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। हरे कृष्णा। Mataji, can we see the screen?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, I'll share the screen. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you will be calling out the names.
Hare Krishna, yes, Mataji. Sudha Mataji will call out the names, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji will read the first sloka and all that, Mataji. Only then we will. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Is it not, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's visible. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. I went to take my water. It's feeling thirsty. Okay. So we are into the fourth canto, 9th chapter. So the title goes, Dhruva Maharaj returning home. Generally we say home, back to Godhead always we say. Here, this is a different thing. This home is coming back to his country or homeland. But it is very interesting when it comes to Dhruva Maharaj Charitra. It's amazing. So many important aspects are there. As we know, Swayambhu Manu and Satarupa, they have 2 sons and 3 daughters. One is Priyavrata and next is Uttanapada. Then the daughters are Ahuti, Devahuti, Prasuti. So in the 4th canto, as such we see the second son of Swayambhu Manu comes, that is Uttanapada. So he had 2 wives, one is Suniti, another is Suruchi. But the king had so much of affection, too much to Suruchi. Both wives had one son, that is Suniti's son is Dhruva and Suruchi's son is Uttanapada. Sorry, Uttama. So we know the story background, how this Dhruva was insulted by mother Suruchi, that is the second wife of Uttanapada. And as he was insulted, interestingly, he was told by mother Suruchi that he has to take birth in her womb. And for that, he has to worship Narayana. So this much she told. But interestingly, when he went to his mother, Suniti, she said, you can see the Lord Narayana in the forest. So immediately, Dhruva Maharaj started moving out of the palace. On the way, he met Narada Muni. Narada Muni guided him so well. The association with Narada Muni turned this Dhruva Maharaj from a Kshatriya to a Sadhu. And when we see the story behind, he meditated on the Lord and the Lord appeared. But this is possible only for of this standard of tapasya. And the Lord Mercy was also there with him. He was a 5-year-old boy and he could achieve that. And interestingly, when he got the darshan, he started praying. In this canto, in this chapter, we are getting that also. 4th canto, 9th chapter, verse number 6. The very first verse is very important. It's called as Dhruva Stuti. It's around 11 shlokas, all wonderful, wonderful shlokas. So I thought I'll be getting an opportunity for this, one of the Stuti, but interestingly, I got only the end of the 9th chapter almost. Okay, no problem. So in that, there is a one verse which is always important. If you all find time, you can memorize it also. This is 496. Verse number is 496. Dhruvacha yonta pravishya mama vacham mam prasuptam sanjeevayat. You have all by hearted, huh? Good. Many of you have by hearted, huh? I can see. Good. That's wonderful. So this was starting one. The next 9 or 10 verses are also very important. Huh? Okay, so as we move further, after having darshan of the Lord, Dhruva comes back to his hometown. The information was well messaged or conveyed to Father Uttanapada by Narada Muni. Narada Muni, when he informed Uttanapada, he could not believe it. As we are seeing the verse number 39 and much before also you can see, he had his own doubts, but he had an inner desire. Because for many, many years, he could not see his son, lost son. Huh? But when he heard the news, that itself brought him so much of joy. And interestingly, when he heard the story of Dhruva, his father was completely astonished. How is that possible like that? So that's what the Sukriti and the mercy of the Lord is very important. As we see here, Dhruva Maharaj has become a perfect Vaishnava. Because Dhruva Maharaj born in a Kshatriya community. Kshatriya community means instantly what guna they will have? It will be only Rajoguna. But interestingly, now we can see many people are having this Rajoguna so much. But that does not mean they are Kshatriyas. So one should understand this. 1 minute. Sorry. Okay, so, and interestingly, Dhruva Maharaj, being a perfect Vaishnava, he was able to respect each and everyone, though he had been insulted by many in the process. As we see here, Uttanapada was not able to respond well when he was insulted by his second wife. So that guilty consciousness was also there in his mind, Uttanapada. As he heard the news, he was extremely pleased and he was full of joy. And as we see here, the joy is completely further increasing, because the reason is he could see his son is returning. And when he got out of his palace with all his military ministers, everybody, he started walking towards that. And on the way, when he saw that, he was immensely pleased and he was full of joy. This is what it is explaining. So let us get into the today's verse now. One minute. Suniti Sunitischasya Mahishyau Rukmabhushite Aruhya Shibikam Sardham Uttamenabhi Jagmatuhu Sunitischasya Mahishyau Rukma Bhushite Aruhya Shibikam Sardham Uttamenabhi Jagmatuhu. One devotee can read it if you can. And
Prabhuji, you want us to read the purport also or only shloka and
I
translation?
will tell you. Shloka, synonyms, translation, purport, all the four.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji. Okay, Anusuya Mataji, you can read the shloka. Chandana Mataji, the synonyms, and Vasudha Mataji, the purport, and Sharmila Mataji, Vasudha Mataji, the translation, Sharmila Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji pranams.
That is.
Suriti surashistyasya Bahishyav Rukmabhushite Aruhya Shibikam Sardham Uttamena Bhi Jagmatuhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Synonyms by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suniti, Queen Suniti. Surichi, Queen Surichi. Cha also, Asya of the king. Mahishyav, queens. Rukma Bhushite, being decorated with golden ornaments. Aruhya, getting on. Shibikam, a palanquin. Sardham, along with Uttamena, the king's other son Uttama. Abhijagmatuhu, all proceeded along. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Both the queens of King Uttanapada, namely Suniti and Surichi, along with his other son Uttama, appeared in the procession. The queens were seated on a palanquin. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After the departure of Dhruva Maharaja from the palace, the king was very afflicted. But by the kind words of Saint Narada, he was partially satisfied. He could understand the great fortune of his wife Suniti and the great misfortune of Queen Suruchi. For these facts were certainly very open in the palace. But still, when the news reached the palace that Dhruva Maharaja was returning, his mother Suniti, out of her great compassion and due to being the mother of a great Vaishnava, did not hesitate to take the other wife Suruchi and her son Uttama on the same palanquin. That was the greatness of Queen Suniti, the mother of the great Vaishnava Dhruva Maharaja. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, in this verse, we can understand Uttanapada was very much eager to see because the news came much before, because Narada Muni brought it here. So, when he started moving out of the palace, he took all the family members, 3 of them, that is, his first wife Suniti, second wife Surichi, and her son Uttama. So just because the Uttama only, the whole situation became a chaos. And interestingly, his mother Surichi also played some part in Dhruva's initial distress. Because he had such a desire, and the desire was so strong. Because it's a material desire, obvious it is. Moreover, he comes from a Kshatriya. Kshatriya means full of, as I told you, Rajoguna. And when those who are in Rajoguna, they go to any extent. This is a very good example for us. But interestingly, one should understand, Dhruva took a wonderful path to achieve this desire, which he got it from the Rajoguna. Many people will say, nowadays people are so greedy and so people are full of desire. And interestingly, this method, what they are following at present is very pathetic. They take lots of different methods. Sometimes they go against the scriptures also to achieve this. This is a very bad situation at present. But when it comes to Dhruva, he took the right path. For that, who was the guide? His stepmother, Surichi. Right? What she said, you have to be born in my stomach, then only you can sit on father's lap. That is Uttanapada. And immediately he asked, how, for that, what I have to do? She said, worship Narayana. So in these two answers, she became a spiritual master. We can call her as Siksha Guru. Okay? Acharyas are explaining, she is also a Siksha Guru one way. And after that, what happened? When he got this message, he went to his mother, Suniti. He was crying. At the time, mother Suniti was asking, what happened, what happened? He could not completely express it because he was in deep tears. And the tears are full of anxiety and full of desire. So the tears were falling down. It was very, very hot. And after that, then he asked the question to mother, Suniti, where should I check this Narayana, where he is, like that. Then she says, you have to go to the forest. So that way she also becomes a Shiksha Guru. When he set out for the forest, on the way he met Narada Muni. So these are all plans or the mercy of God. That's what we have to understand. Everybody will not get an opportunity at the age of 5 to do this much of tapasya and the Lord being present before him and blessing him, all this. So as we see here, Dhruva Maharaj took the right path of worshipping the Lord, Hari. When we see this sentence or when we read this sentence, one should understand Bhagavatam refers two things. One is a very common quoted shloka, we all might know that. Akamaha sarvakamova mokshakama udaradihi. This is the first part. The second part, what is it? Timirena bhakti yogena ejeta purusham param. So what they have to do, if they don't have any desire, also they can take the lotus feet of Krishna. If they've got all type of desire, they can take the lotus feet of Krishna. If they've got a moksha kama, that liberation also, they can take the lotus feet of Krishna. But interestingly, Dhruva Maharaj took the middle one. Sarva kama, he had such a desire. And it is cannot be compared. He wanted to have a land or a country more than his grandfather, that is Brahma also. That was his desire. So much he was having it. So that way we can understand he took the right path. Again, one more shloka in the Bhagavatam also refers, one should approach Hari, nobody else. Right? This is also, again, you know that you might have crossed this particular verse. This is in the 4th canto, 8th chapter, rather the previous chapter, wherein verse number I forgot it, wherein Narada Muni is explaining it. There are Purusharthas. What are the Purusharthas? There are 4 types of Purusharthas, right? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So for all these type of desires, one has to approach Hari only. So Narada Muni, how he says that? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Mokshakyam, Yaiche, Shreya, Atmanaha, Ekam hi eva hares tatra karanam padasevanam. Verse number, I forgot it. Can anybody pick it up? It's a very important verse. We can memorize it also. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, Mokshakyam, Yaiche, Shreya, Atmanaha, Ekam hi eva hares tatra karanam padasevanam. So what does he say there? Narada Muni tells Dhruva Maharaj. So those who have got desires or those who want to achieve this 4 type of Purusharthas, they can approach or they have to approach only Hari. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Mokshakyam, Yaiche, Shreya, Atmanaha, Ekam hi eva hares tatra. Hares tatra means only Hari. So that means that's a very important line we have to understand. One should approach Lord Hari only for all these things. So like this, there are so many references, and Dhruva Maharaj is top on the list. He has taken that. Thank you, Mataji, 4841. So that means one should understand, one can desire, but one should approach the right source. So only to Krishna. So this way, Dhruva Maharaj approached Narayana, and in the process, he succeeded. So wonderful. So as we see here in this portion, now both the mothers have been taken up by Uttanapada because he has to carry, or rather he has to take all the queens as well as the son. So as he was moving out of the palace, when he was moving in the procession, it was a big procession, right? You know that nowadays people go and receive people in a big way, especially when they come from the airport or when they come from the railway station, all this. See, these are all only material things, and these are all completely with some motive. But one should understand the receiving of Dhruva Maharaj is something fantastic. It is described in the Vishnu Puran also how much they were giving him respect and how the reception was given all the way. Nowadays, you can see arches are done, so much flowers are spread, all these things are there, no? Crackers are burst, all these things. So similarly, here also, he was received very well, so well, and all that respect was given to him. Right? So in the purport, it is explained after the departure of Maharaja, the king was very much afflicted. Why afflicted? Because he did a mistake. What mistake? Just because his second wife, his dear wife, was refusing him to sit on the lap of Uttanapada. Uttanapada is afflicted. And again, the words of Surichi was very harsh towards Dhruva. At that time also, Uttanapada was simply watching it. So again, he did further mistakes also. In the process, he is afflicted, and naturally, when we do mistakes, later on we are getting affected by this. See, there are so many examples in the process, right? People do mistakes, but they repent for it and ask for the atonement. All these things happen, right? Here also, he was afflicted, but interestingly, when Narada Muni said he is coming back, he is very much satisfied, rather partially satisfied. Why? Because of Uttanapada and Surichi, the boy of 5-year-old left the palace, leaving all the comforts, all the luxuries, right? That means, imagine a Kshatriya leaving the luxury, leaving the comforts. But for us, it's very difficult for us, right? Whenever we go to Yatra, no, we ask the operator or the Yatra whoever takes us, yeah, is there any AC bus? Is there any AC accommodation? All these things we ask. But here, Dhruva Maharaj was so cool, he left the palace just like that. So again, Uttanapada is affected. He was partially happy. He could understand the great fortune of his wife Suniti. So Suniti is most fortunate because begetting a child, that too a top-class devotee will not. These are the important. That's why we always recommend when women are pregnant, they have to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially the third canto, which is much more important. Then further it says, and the great misfortune of Suniti, because she did the whole thing. According to Uttanapada, it's a misfortune. But again, how Dhruva looks at it, let us see it after a few verses. And for these facts were certainly very open in the palace. But still, when the news reached the palace, Dhruva Maharaj was returning. His mother Suniti, of great compassion and due to being the mother of a great Vaishnava, did not hesitate to take the other wife. This is a very important note. This is what Prabhupada makes it much more clear to us. See, though the king Uttanapada had 2 wives, and being insulted by the stepmother towards her own son, then Suniti did not took it in the wrong sense. This is a very important thing. What she did now, she is also taking Surichi along with her, and not only her, along with the other son, Uttama, on the same palanquin. See, I'll tell you, this is a Vaishnava etiquette. There are so many occasions where we can see that. I'll tell you at the end of the session one story in the Brigat Bhagavatam, how the Lord displayed the etiquette. Okay, so coming back to this situation, the son Uttama on the same palanquin. That was the greatness of Queen Suniti, the mother of a great Vaishnava Guru Maharaj. So here, Suniti is glorified so much, right? She did not pick up a quarrel when his son was refused to sit on the father's lap, and she did not went and complain or did not argue with the other wife, Surichi or King Uttanapada. She kept quiet. She was very, very tolerant. She could swallow the pain, all those things. That is a pure Vaishnava. So much insult was afflicted, but still she was tolerating it. So this is again the Shikshatakam which you always quote. Snatapi Sunichena Tarorapi. So there are lots of instances wherein a Vaishnava offended and the other party is affected immediately. One instance is in the Mahabharata, Duryodhana insulted a great Vaishnava who is that Vidura. So that day the fall down of this Duryodhana started there itself. It was fixed then itself. This is one case. Then when coming to Ramayana also, a pure Vaishnava was insulted very greatly. That is the fall down of the demonic nature of Ravana. So Ravana did not respect his brother Vibhishana, a pure Vaishnava. When he advised, when he told so many things, he was not willing to listen. So in the Ramayana, Valmiki writes that's the time when Ravana's downfall is fixed. So all these things clearly gives us a lesson. We should always respect people. So we should never expect any respect also. That's why Amaninam Manadena. So Ravana and Duryodhana all fell down because they disrespected a pure Vaishnava. So here also we have to understand the quality of a Vaishnava, and we can learn from whom? Suniti, the mother of Dhruva, a pure Vaishnava. Okay, moving on to the next verse.
Hare Krishna.
1 minute, I will read down.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Prabhu.
Tam drishtvopa vana bhasha, sorry. Tam drishtvopa vana vyasa ayantam tarasa ratat avaruhya nrupas turnam asadhya prema vihvalaha. One more time. Tam drishtvopa vanabhyasa ayantam tarasa rahat avaruhya nrupasturnam asadhya prema vihvalaha paridhe angajam dorbhyam dirgho kantha manah swasan vishwakshenangri samsparsha हताशेषाघ बंधनम परिधेयंगजम दोर्भ्याम दीर्घोत्कंठ मनाश्वसन विश्वक्षेणांग्री संस्पर्श हताशेषाघ बंधनम. Okay, you can request them to read, please.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Prasanti Mataji, you can read the shloka. Archana Mataji, the synonyms. Krishnamurti Prabhu, the translation. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prasanti Mataji, are you there?
Looks like not there. Huh?
Hare Krishna. Archana Mataji, you can read the shloka.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhu. Tam drishto bhavanabhyasa ayandam tarasaradha avaruhya nrapasturnam asadhya prema vikvala parirebhen bhajam dhorbhyam dharghot kandha manashvasan vishwaksenagri samsparsha hadaseshadabandhanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Vihvalaha.
Krishna.
Mataji is Vihvalaha. Visarga is there. Huh?
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Synonymous Tam him Dhruva Maharaja Drashtva, having seen Upavana, the small forest, Abhyase, near Ayantam, returning Tarasaha, with great haste, Rathat, from the chariot, Avaruhya, got down, Drupaha, the king, Turnam, immediately, Turnam, immediately, Asadhya, coming near, Prema, with love, Vihkalaha, overwhelmed, Pariribhe, he embraced Angajam, his son Daurbhyam, with his arms, Dirgha, for a long time, Utkantha, anxious, Manaha, the king, whose mind, Swasan, breathing heavily, Vishwaksena of the Lord, Angrihi, by the lotus feet, Samsparsha, being touched, Hata, were destroyed, Asesha, unlimited, Agaha, material contamination, Bandhanam, whose bondage. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Upon seeing Dhruva Maharaj approaching the neighboring small forest, King Uttanapada, with great haste, got down from his chariot. He had been very anxious for a long time to see his son, Dhruva, and therefore with son Dhruva, and therefore with great love and affection he went forward to embrace his long lost boy. Breathing very heavily, the king embraced him with both arms. But Dhruva Maharaj was not the same as before. He was completely sanctified by spiritual advancement due to having been touched by the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Pranams.
Hare Krishna. So this verse reminds us something in the 10th canto, wherein Akrurji, he is moving out from Mathura to bring both the boys, that is Krishna and Balrama, to Mathura from Vrindavana. Okay, let me see that. Okay, so here we can see that upon seeing Dhruva Maharaj approaching the neighboring small forest, Uttanapada was with great haste. Haste, why? Because he has got so much of anxiety in mind. Why? Anxiousness comes because having done something wrong to him, and that boy is in a glorious position, and it really gives him so much of joy. So what did he do now? Out of haste, he got down from the chariot. He jumped, right? Because being a king, he did not get down from the chariot. But what happened? Because this boy is normal, not a normal son. He has become a great devotee of the Lord and glorified by the Lord himself. So here the etiquette comes in a different style. Why? Because father may be in a higher position, but at the same time, the son is younger than, but still his anubhava. What is that anubhava? Krishna anubhava. So son could get that Krishna anubhavam. For that reason only, though father and a king, he got down from the chariot to receive him. This is what it is explained here. So when I said that, in the same situation also, when we talked about the 10th canto, Akrurji was dreaming to meet Krishna and Balaram. When Kansa said, you have to go and bring him, he was extremely happy. He set out on the chariot to go and receive Krishna Balaram from Vrindavan. So as soon as he reached the border of Vrindavan, from the chariot, he did not climb down or got down. He rolled down on the earth. What is that? Vrajabhumi. Why? Because Vrajadhuli is very important, right? So he did not keep his leg first. He rather rolled down on the dhuli and he took all the Vrajagopis dhuli. Then he started moving. So this is the way also here. He got down from the chariot. Who? Uttanapada. So he was so anxious to see his son. And what happened to him? With great love and affection, he went up, embraced him. So the flow of joy comes out so much, he could not control himself. He went and embraced his long lost boy. It's bound to be there because the affection between a son and a father, the affection between a mother and a daughter, or anything in the family, is always there like that. But one should understand when the son became a devotee of the Lord, it is much more for them. Right? Similarly, when the Lord expanded himself as so many cowherd boys, cows and calves in the Brahma Vimoha Leela, the mother of the certain Gopa were so affectionate to the son because Krishna expanded himself. Same way, Dhruva is not a normal prince. Now he is a pure devotee of the Lord, a great Vaishnava. So naturally, the father has got so much of love, affection towards him, and he wanted to embrace him. And what does it say? Breathing very heavily. See, there are two occasions when we breathe heavily. One, when there is a fear. What type of fear? It's completely a great fear, right? So one can call it as mrityu fear also, right? So we breathe heavily. And other situations when we are having so much of joy or so much of. So this breathing heavily, who the king went and embraced him and took him in both the arms. So that means the king is able to understand his position and how fortunate he is being the father of a pure Vaishnava. Though he could not help him when the situation wanted, but the situation has completely changed the other way, he has to respect him, bringing the wrath, everything to bring him. But when he was insulted by the second wife, the Uttanapada was simply watching. He could not do anything. So these are the reasons one can understand not to offend anybody. Right? The king embraced the Bhagavatam, but Dhruva Maharaj was not the same as before. Why it is written as before? Because he is blessed by the Lord, not only blessed by the Lord, how he is blessed? With the conch shall the Lord touch his chin. Right? So that gave him Yovanta Pravishya. Right? So here the transformation took place in him, in the body of Dhruva, because he got the touch of the Lord. That's why it is explained here. He was completely sanctified. Why the word sanctified mentioned is here, he had so much of deep desires, right? The desire is completely a pure material desire. But what happened? It turned or it transformed into a pure spiritual advancement. How? Because due to having been touched by the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. So the contact with the Lord physically made him so perfect. And especially it is sanctifying him. Why sanctifying? Because all his material desires are removed totally. He went for so many things, material achievements, but when he did this tapasya, he lost all those things. Okay, so this way one can understand. Another point which we can relate here is the hugging or the embracing is very, very important. In this connection, the Gopakumar also, the same story which I am going to tell you at the end, will be connected with that. Okay, so moving on to the next one. (44) Atha jigran murdni shitair nayana varibihi snapayamasa tanayam jatoddama manoratah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Barnali Mataji, you can read the shloka. Suma Mataji translation and I'll read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Dandavat pranams. Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Athaji gran muhurmurdni sitirnana baribi snapayama satanayam jatuttama manoratha. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Suma Mataji, you can read
Hare
the
Krishna.
synonyms and translation.
Yes, Mataji. Prashanti Mataji, are you there, Mataji?
Yeah,
Yes, Mataji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
synonyms.
Synonyms, Mataji. I'll read the translation.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Was I audible?
Yeah, very much.
Yes, yes.
Atha, thereupon, ajigram, smelling, muhuhu, again and again, murdhni, on the head, shitaha, shitaihi, cold, nayana, of his eyes, varibihi, with the water, snapayam, asha, he bathed, tanayam, son, jata, fulfilled, uddhama, great, manaha, rataha, his desire. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna translation. Thank you. Hare Krishna translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Reunion with Dhruva Maharaj fulfilled King Uttanapada's long cherished desire, and for this reason he smelled Dhruva's head again and again and bathed him with torrents of very cold tears. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Masaji. Thank you.
Purport is there.
Hare Krishna, purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. By nature's way, when a man cries, there may be two causes. When one cries in great happiness upon the fulfillment of some desire, the tears coming forth from the eyes are very cold and pleasing, whereas tears in times of distress are very hot. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, the purport is so wonderful here. Prabhupada is also explaining it very nicely. Okay. So getting into the situation again, I tell you. See, Uttarapada was not getting the opportunity of the touch of the Supreme Lord. But he could satisfy himself or fulfill his desire that through hugging his own son who got the special touch of the Lord. So that means we are always, especially hugging the pure devotee of the Lord. Why? Because it is the reason behind this. Those who are in a pure state of God consciousness, we are doing that, right? So in this connection also again, there is one verse in the Ambarish Charitra, you might have, Savai Manaha Krishna Padaram. In that, the Ambarish Maharaj, what he used to do, Sparshe Gatra Anga Shangamam. What is that? Let me try to recollect it. This is in the third line. Twadbritya Gatre Anga Sangam. I got it. Twadbritya means the Lord's servants or the pure devotees. Twadbritya Gatra Anga Sangamam. So what did he do? Ambarish Maharaj hugged those pure devotees of the Lord, so that he utilized his body in touch with the pure devotee of the Lord. So here also Uttanapada was able to feel that when he hugged his own son. And what did he do? Again and again he smelled his head. That is a sign of affection and flow of pure joy. And what did he do? He drenched him or bathed him fully with his cold tears, torrents. So this is another interesting thing, right? When the tears come, there are two types of tears as it is explained here. When we are in full joy, the tear also becomes very cool. And similarly, when you are in anxiety, it becomes very hot. Because whatever the feeling that is expressed in the tears. In this connection, one can remember in the Ramayana, right? Ramayana, when Hanuman was requested by Rama to come back, and he said, okay, I am ready to stay here as long as I hear your katha, that's more than sufficient for me. That's why we used to say that one shloka for Hanuman. Yatra yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam, anybody knows? Tatra tatra Kritamasta Kanchalim. Anybody knows?
Bashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namaha Rakshantaham.
Bashpavari Paripurna Lochanam. So from his eyes, whose eyes? Hanuman's eyes, what comes? Bashpavari. It's a torrent of cold tears. Thank you, Meenakshi Mataji. Good. So these are the very important verses. Whenever we have the darshan of Hanuman, we should recite these verses. He will be very much pleased. So that way, here, Uttanapada's eyes are completely full of tears, which is cold, because he is in full joy. And what happens immediately? He hugs his son, Dhruva. So one can understand how important it is. There is one more point which I want to refer here is, in many occasions, when Krishna is leaving the Hastinapur, or when he is entering Dwaraka, right? Everybody cannot hug Krishna directly, right? So what happens? Certain devotees are very close and so close to Krishna, they get the opportunity of hugging Krishna, right? In this connection, I remember in the Hastinapur, when Krishna was leaving for Dwaraka, the queens went up the terrace, or what do you call it as balcony, and they were watching Krishna is leaving to Dwaraka because they could not face the separation because Krishna is moving out of Hastinapura. But what happened? when their children, the queen's children, were hugged by Krishna, immediately all the queens were also feeling that same feeling. What is that? Because their son means their own body, right? So immediately when the sons returned also, the queens or the mothers hugged their children. What is that feeling? So they are getting the touch of Lord Shri Krishna. Here also, Uttanapada got the touch of the Lord through his son, Dhruva Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So moving on to next verse, 45. Abhivandya Pitu Padha Ashirbhi Chabi Mantritaha Nanama Matarau Shishna Satkrita Sajjana Granihi. This last line is important. Sajjana Granihi is very important. Okay. Abhivandya Pitu Padao. Okay, Padao. Ashibis Chabi Mantritaha Nanama Matarau Srishna Satkrita Sajjana Granihi.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you can read. Someone can read it.
Hare Krishna. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the shloka. Barnali Mataji, the synonyms. Suma Mataji, the translation, and I'll read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranams, Prabhuji. Thank you. Abhivadya pitah pada ashirbish chabimantritah nanam matarau Sirshna Satkritah Sajjanagranihi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Synonyms: Avivandya, worshipping; Pitu, of his father; Padav, the feet; Ashirbhi, with benedictions; Cha, and Abhimantritah, was addressed; Nanama, he bowed; Matarau, to his two mothers; Sirshna, with his head; Satkritah, was honored; Sajjana, of the nobles; Agranihi, the foremost. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams, Prabhuji Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Kripa Mai Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sudha Mataji, then you can read the purport.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Then Dhruva Maharaja, the foremost of all nobles, first of all offered his obeisances at the feet of his father and was honored by his father with various questions. He then bowed his head at the feet of his two mothers. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It may be questioned why Dhruva Maharaj offered his respect not only to his mother but also to his stepmother, due to whose insults he had to leave home. The answer is that after achieving perfection by self-realization and seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, Dhruva Maharaj was completely freed from all contamination of material desire. Feelings of insult or honor in this material world are never perceived by a devotee. Lord Chaitanya therefore says that one has to be humbler than the grass, and he recommends more tolerant than the tree to execute devotional service. Dhruva Maharaj therefore has in this verse been described as Sajja Janagranihi, the foremost of noble men. The pure devotee is the noblest of all, and he has no feelings of animosity towards anyone. Duality due to animosity is a creation of this material world. There is no such thing in the spiritual world, which is the absolute reality. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
As I explained, Sajjana Granihi is a very important word because one should be able to come to this level. This is a primary quality or a qualification to become a devotee of the Lord. Because the Lord reciprocates with such a devotee only. When there is any animosity, naturally the Lord will be away. Right? And similarly, when we have got any envy, also the Lord goes away. As we saw in the first sloka of today's purport, what did Suniti did? She also took Surichi along with her. Though she did so much to her son, she took. So these are the Vaishnava etiquette where we have to understand that. So these are the qualities which we have to imbibe. This is a very important thing. So as we see here, it's a very interesting thing. Dhruva Maharaj fall at the feet of his mother as well as the stepmother too. Right? First he did pranam to his father because father is always father, mata, pita, guru, right? So here also he did that because he did not have anything in his mind, who Dhruva. Though his father did not respond at the first time, for which he had so much of insult and so much of disrespect from him. So he didn't keep it in his mind and he didn't take a chance to do that again. So the Vaishnavas always forget it. That is a very important. As we see here, generally the forgetfulness and the remembrance the Lord gives it. For what? There is a sloka in the Bhagavad Gita, many of you might know, right?
सर्वस्य चाहं प्रतिसन्निविष्टो स्मृतिस्थानमबोधनं च वेदैश्च सर्वे अहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तवेदविदेव च.
The second part is not important. The first part is important for us. So the first part says so smriti and vismriti. But generally now what we do, the Lord has given us forgetfulness. But what we do, somebody helped us, we forget it conveniently, right? That's not the way to do it as a Vaishnava. Then second thing, the Lord has given us memory, right? That means what we do, when somebody did some bad thing to us, we remember it till the end of our life, right? That also we misuse it. So remembrance and the forgetfulness should be used the other way. How? Remembering somebody who had helped throughout, you have to remember it. And forgetfulness, you have to utilize it when somebody did bad things to you. Here, a good example of a Vaishnava is here, Dhruva Maharaj simply forgot whatever had happened to him before. He did not remember that. But he completely gave so much of respect to each and every one. So this way, the question comes, after doing pranam to his father, he did pranam to both the mothers. See, this is a Vaishnava etiquette. And imagine what will be the situation of Surichi. Huh? She will be ashamed of herself, right? The same situation happened in the Ramayana also, you might remember it, right? Lord Rama was forced to go to the forest by stepmother Kaikeyi, right? And when he returned from Lanka, he did pranam to her too. He respected her equally, like a Kaushalya. So at that time, the feeling of Kaikeyi was extremely horrible. She could not feel that, oh, I am so much bad in my mind. I did so much of insult to him, but he is respecting me so much. Same situation here also. Surichi was feeling extremely shameful of her act. So that's why the purport Prabhupada writes here, Dhruva Maharaj offered respect not only his mother, but also stepmother. The reason is, he is a Vaishnava. Because somebody achieving self-realization, it's not complete when they don't know how to respect it. But one should respect others. Dhruva Maharaj has realized himself very easily and he did it with perfection. There was no contamination in him. Because purification started the moment he did tapasya. Because all the 6 impurities of his heart were removed. Again, when the Lord touched with his conch and when he touched the boy, that way he got removed of all impurities. That's why in one of the purport also earlier today we read it, sanctified. Who was sanctified? Dhruva Maharaj is fully sanctified because the Lord's touch. So here it says feeling of insult and honor in this material world are never perceived by a devotee. That's why again the same Siksha Atakam is mentioned. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioning it. Okay, same thing. Amaninam Manadena. Okay. So he recommends a tolerant than the tree, right? Sunatapi Sunichena. Okay, so Dhruva Maharaj therefore has this in verse described in the Sajjana Granihi. We should always remember it. See, I'll tell you, the Lord, how he does it. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. He has got no envy or no love too much for anybody. He has equality. So here also Dhruva Maharaj forgot all that what happened before. The pure devotee of the Lord is the noblest of all and has no feelings of animosity. This is very important. So he removed all those things. Duality due to animosity is a creation of material world. So there is no such a thing in the spiritual world, which is absolutely real. Okay. Hare Krishna. The last verse. Verse
Hare
number
Krishna Prabhuji.
46.
Yeah.
Surichistam
Samutthapya
Mataji,
pada.
let Prabhuji read. Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Sorry.
No problem, no problem. Okay. Surichistam samuttapya padavanatam arbakam parishvajyaha jiveti bashpa gadgadaya gira. So gadgadaya gira, you all know that this is a very important verse in the Sikshatakam, even in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I will tell you later on. Okay. Mataji, you can read now.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam. Surachestam samuttapya padavantamarbakam parishvajyah jiveti bhashmagatgyadaya gira. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Sharmila Mataji, you read the synonyms and Vasudha Mataji the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Synonyms: Suruchi, Queen Suruchi, Tam, him, Samuttapya, having picked up, Pada Avanatam, fallen at her feet, Arbakam, the innocent boy, Parishvajya, embracing, Aha, she said, Jiva, may you live long, Iti, thus, Bashpa, with tears, Gadgadaya, choked up, Gira, with words. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Suruchi, the younger mother of Dhruva Maharaj, seeing that the innocent boy had fallen at her feet, immediately picked him up, embracing him with her hands, and with tears of feeling she blessed him with the words, "My dear boy, long may you live." Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
As I told you, now Suruchi is feeling for that. That's why the Prabhupada translation says tears of feeling. Right? So that's why in this material world, we should never do any harm to anyone for that matter. We should learn it. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Amanina Manadin, again and again. See, this is the very prime quality of a devotee. If that is not developed, one cannot claim, oh, I am a devotee of Krishna. And one cannot say other, oh, you are non-devotee. So this is the primary thing, one should understand that. So here, Dhruva Maharaj was so much affectionate to all and everyone. There was no disparity or any partiality. He was equal to all. Seeing innocent boy had fallen at her feet. So she picked up and hugged him also, right? So these are the signs wherein the Vaishnavas teach others the quality of tolerance. And naturally, as a mother, right, immediately her words came out, blessing the child. My dear boy, long may you live. So this way we can understand that. So in this connection, Pulakankitam, no? What is the word here? It is Bashpa is one. Another one is, what is that? Gadgadaya. Gadgadaya, right? So, what is the verse in the Sikshatakam? Anybody remembers? Gadgaya Hridaya Gira. Anybody remembers?
Pulakair Nichitam.
Pulakair Nichitam
Nichitam Vapu Kada. Tavanama Grahani.
Tavanam
Beginning.
Yugaitam
Yugaitam
Nimishanam
Nimishana
Chakram
Chakshapravarshaitam Shunyayitam
Shunyatam Jagat Govinda
Govinda.
Okay, so that's wonderful. So these are the things we have to understand. Choked up, the throat is choked up because for searching for words. Same situation happened to Narada Muni also, right? This is in the first canto, I think 6th chapter or I think 4th chapter. Okay, wherein when he was meditating on the Lord, after moving from south to north at the feet of Himalayas, he sat and meditated on the Lord. There it is explained here, no? The same symptom in his body also came. He could not speak. Same situation for Dhruva also. When he saw the Lord right in front of him, he could not speak. Gadgadaya. So these are the things which we can understand how important it is. The symptoms in our body should happen when we see the Lord and when we see the Vaishnavas too. Okay. So I wanted to tell you one story. I will say that now. See, Sanatan Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed all of them, all 6 Goswamis, to take out all the histories of Vrindavana and Brajabhumi, everything, right? So one of them is Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami took out a book which is called as Brihat Bhagavatamrita. It is another expansion of the Bhagavatam, wherein describes about a beautiful devotee of the Lord whose name is Gopakumar. So Sanatan Goswami, when he writes about the Gopakumar and how love and affection he had for Lord Krishna, is explained in one of the situations, right? The boy, with all the efforts, he reached the Goloka Vrindavan, right? After reaching there, he could see so much of crowd, so much of devotees, so much of... Because in the spiritual world also, there are so many devotees, lakhs and crores of devotees, right? So one can compare it when we go to the Puri Rath Yatra, right? You can see so much of crowd. Similarly, Kumbh Mela also now, right? Mahakumbh Mela. Same way in the Goloka also, it was so crowded, so crowded. And when Gopakumar reached there, he thought, how can I meet the Lord if this is so much crowded here? How can I make out the Lord? All these things he was having his own doubts. One time, what happened? He went and requested one of the devotees there, where is Krishna? When he will come? Like that, he is asking so many questions, very innocently. Immediately, the other devotee, being the spiritual world, was very tolerant and told him, the Lord has gone to graze the cows. How is that possible? Even in the spiritual world also, Krishna is grazing the cows. When he came to Vrindavana, when he came to Gokul, he was grazing the cow. What he was doing in the Goloka, he is doing the same thing in the material world. So that the same thing he is doing it. Then they were asking, then one of the devotees explained, no, Krishna has gone out to graze the cows. So once he finishes, he will come in this way only. He can wait here and see the Lord. So as it was heard by Gopakumar, Gopakumar was eager to see the Lord so much, because that is a pure love and affection for the Lord, right? So much of prema was in his mind, right? When there was so much of sound of the flute, then Gopakumar could understand the Lord is coming. That is a symptom. Because Narada Muni explained to Gopakumar, the Lord will have a flute and he will play the flute, right? So when he heard that, then he could understand the Lord is coming. So the crowd was so much, but this poor Gopakumar was waiting much behind. In front of him, there were so many other people waiting. Lakhs and crores of people are waiting. People means in the end, all are devotees, right? In the Goloka Vrindavan. The Lord, what he did, while playing the flute, he completely cleared all the crowd and came directly to Gopakumar. What did he do? He came directly to Gopakumar and hugged him so tight. That means the Lord is showing how to receive a devotee. This is a very important thing. And when the Lord hugged Gopakumar, both fell unconscious because Gopakumar is full of prema and full of tears. And same way, Krishna is also same situation, full of prema, full of tears, both fell down. And immediately, since it is Goloka, Yashoda, Vasudeva, everybody came, and what happened to Krishna? They are all searching. They are asking. Immediately, Balram came, do not worry. He is a very dear devotee of Krishna. That's why both of them fell unconscious. They will come back. So immediately, Balram, what did he do? He woke up that Gopakumar boy and he told him, get up, get up. So call out the names of Krishna, he will also come to consciousness. Same thing happened in the Puri Jagannath also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here also, the boys chanted loudly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The moment he chanted loudly, Krishna also got up, hugged him again and asked him, where were you? And I was longing for you. How did you leave me and go? Like that he was telling. So this way, the Lord received the pure devotee in such a way. We should understand how important for us to receive a devotee. Hare Krishna. Any other questions, doubts?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, anybody has doubt? Yes, Shobha Mataji can ask Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. Prabhuji, just one query I had. Like we are reading that Dhruva Loka is a Vaikuntha Loka.
Dhruva Loka is separate. It's a separate world for him. It never gets destroyed at all. Eternal.
So, Prabhuji, it's not like it is not one of the Vaikuntha Lokas.
Mataji, it's in the spiritual planet. That's it. Very simple. It is not coming under the material planet.
So, Prabhuji, but it is said that pole star is visible to us. So, when we are looking at the pole star, should we think that we are looking at one of the spiritual worlds?
No, this is what you have to understand. See, it is a planet wherein it never gets destroyed. It's also, see, whatever is not destroyed by the annihilation, it's called a spiritual planet. Clear?
Okay.
So it is eternal.
And,
is eternal. It never gets destroyed at all.
Okay, Prabhuji, got it. And Prabhuji, also I have heard like first and second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam are the lotus feet of Lord. So is it like other cantos are also designated similarly?
Yeah, it is explained. There is a verse, Mataji, in this connection. Since I do not have time now, I am unable to explain to you.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will post it in the group, Prabhuji. Mataji.
There is a verse also in this connection. It explains it. 10th canto is the heart of Krishna. That's what I remember, if I remember it. Oh, sorry, face of the Lord. Face of the Lord.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji, I will do that.
Yeah, thank you
I
so much.
want to tell you one more important thing. No? It is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you might have heard about it. No? Dhruva, though he came for so much of material desires, finally he said, I don't want anything. Just for a reference, I will give you, go and read that verse since there is no time. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 22 chapter, verse number 42. It's a very important. Sthanabhilashita tapasistitoham Tom Praptavan Deva Munindra Guhyam Kachan Vichinvan Apidivyaratnam Swamin Kritartosmi Param Nayachaye. He says, I don't want any boon. So that is the situation of Dhruva Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can we stop here?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, is it okay to ask one question, Prabhuji, from my side?
Okay, because I have to go to.
Okay, Prabhuji, then.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just wanted, in today's class, you said that Surichi is also a Shiksha Guru of Dhruva Maharaj. In some way, she also helped Dhruva Maharaj to attain the Lord. So I just wanted to, in one of the purports, it's given like she will become mad as told by the Lord himself.
Mataji, 1 minute. I am getting
Yes.
tell me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. As told by the Lord himself that she will become mad and she will run in the forest after losing her son. So I just wanted to know, Prabhuji. It is given in the purport number 24, Prabhuji. 21, 20 to 21 of the same chapter. So why like that, Prabhuji? Why she does not go back to Godhead? She also helps Dhruva Maharaj like in attaining the Lord.
Now, where it is mentioned, Mataji, I have to see that reference.
Shall I? Hare Krishna.
I would request you, can you send me the separately? I can explain.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. I'll just ask separately. Thank you so much.
Going to go out. That's it.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Then we will end with the prayer.
Really sorry for it. Hare.
No problem, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I'll ask.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Grantha. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यः
कृपा पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत की जय।
प्रभु जी
हरे कृष्णा, धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Please do write me on this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, sure.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you all Matajis and Prabhujis. I'll end